Without strategy, it is just stuff. Content is just stuff. However, the world has enough stuff. So let's talk strategy.
Strategy.
Welcome to Casa De Confidence, a podcast for you. You'll hear some incredible women
And some awesome, cool dudes.
going confidently in the direction of their dreams and living in the purpose of their heart.
You're our host.
Julie DeLucca-Collins. And you are our sidekick. # handsome hot husband.
That again.
And the producer of the show.
That I am.
I am an author, speaker, coach, dreamer, and most of all,
We help people go in the direction of their dreams.
and support them on their purpose. So pull up a chair
Grab a drink.
and make yourself at home because our casa
Is your casa.
Daniel, welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody, to Casa De Confidence.
Hey, podcast for you. Oh, wait a minute. We're going to say that in the little intro.
Yeah, we already did, technically.
Technically, I don't know how this works when we are. It's too much for my brain sometimes. But, if you're a business owner and you feel overwhelmed by branding or just getting the right message out there, this episode is for that person. It is the golden ticket. Oh, I'm in a little funny mood. What about you, Daniel?
Funny mood?
Mm-hmm.
Like funny ha-ha or funny?
I am just I'm rearing to go. I'm on the go. Today's
good
Tuesday.
for you.
Lots
I'm
of things
so
to do.
happy.
What?
I'm so happy you're rearing to go.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me, Dan.
Yes.
You didn't introduce yourself to the viewers, listeners, whoever's in the world that's consuming this information.
Really?
Podcast.
I'm not going to say what you want me to say.
I want you to say it, or I'll say it for you.
I'll say it.
Go ahead.
Hi. For people who haven't listened to the podcast before, my name's Dan, also known as the #hot handsome husband.
Oh, it's actually handsome hot husband. But who is complaining as long as you say all the words?
I don't get the hashtag right. So
Anyway, I am excited for this interview. The person who is sharing the time with me on the podcast today is someone who I met through Arliss in Hawaii. And Liz Johnson has become a friend of the show, has become someone who I consider a partner in this life that we do business and supporting each other. She's also spoken in the mastermind. I love all the work that she's doing. But the most important thing that people should know about her is that she's an expert at what she does. No other word, no other way of saying it.
Cool.
And we talk to so many women and incredible cool dudes when it comes to their business, that the one piece that a lot of people don't realize that is key is your branding, your outreach, your strategy. And that's where a lot of people are getting stuck.
Amazing. And I know it's not just about having a website or posting on Instagram anymore.
Right. No,
So-
for sure.
It's about strategy, connection, and real results.
Yeah. And,
I mean,
so Liz
what
Johnson.
it's really about.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Sorry. It's okay.
Didn't mean to speak over you because I know that annoys
My
you.
brilliance is gone. It's done.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
Really? Well, let me tell you my brilliance. I'm going to remember to say that Liz Johnson is from Mountain View Marketing, which is her company. And, her backstory is that she has been around and she founded Mountain View in 2003. So for more than 20 years, she's been helping
Wow.
businesses from scrappy startups to grown companies to get smarter and bigger. And, that's all we would want in someone that supports us when it comes to marketing.
So what stands out to you from this
About Liz?
conversation? About the conversation
Well,
and about Liz.
Okay, so Liz tells me that I believe it's in the 90s. 90% of her business really comes from referrals. And I love that. I love that so much because that means that she doesn't have to work very hard at nurturing people because the referral partners that she has are supporting her in the process of building that like, know, and trust with people.
Cool.
Yeah. And also, the other thing I like is she doesn't lock people into contracts, which is very nice.
That's cool. And like, know, and trust. That's the most important thing because you're building relationships with people.
Yeah.
You're not just treating people like they're just another income for you, right? You actually have stake in their success.
Yep. Hey, by the way,
and stake in the relationship.
Do you have a stake in this relationship?
I do. I do. I keep it next to my bed in case you turned into a vampire.
What?
A stake. That's how you kill vampires. A stake.
Oh my God! For the love of God, I'm talking about. Are you into this relationship and this podcast and this whole business?
Oh,
we have
absolutely.
Going on?
I mean, 100%.
I'm glad you are, because this podcast wouldn't happen without you. That's for sure.
This I know.
This you know. Oh,
well, my gosh!
Be a little modest, won't you?
I'm going to take a sip of my coffee.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Okay. Dan got a new mug. And if you're listening to the podcast, I'm going to describe it. It's a mug with, it says the tech and it says the talent.
Hold on.
Oh,
big reveal. On the other side, the talent is the best part.
I don't like that picture. And he had to use a picture I don't like. That picture. But whatevs, So I noticed that your mug doesn't have our logo though.
It doesn't. I should have had it printed on the bottom.
No. Oh, look how smart you are. Yes. You know what? You can print it and then you can stick it on a sticker and put it in there.
We should just get stickers.
Good idea.
Yeah, but
I'm going to work on that.
It'll be a cup doomed to be hand washed for its entire life then.
Or we just can have 500 stickers. Can we just
Or we can buy a silk screen machine.
No. Okay, wait a minute. Stop buying shit. Oh, stuff.
Let's not talk about that right
Let's
now.
not talk about you buying stuff. But it's kind of funny. Speaking of buying stuff, wait a minute. We do have to talk about this. Okay, what? The day has arrived. Today's a big day. And it's not only my sister Vicky's birthday. Happy birthday, Vicky. But it is also, launch day for Pat Flynn's book.
Cool.
And Pat Flynn, my mentor, I love him, everything that we know about podcasting. And as I started this business and launched with you, of course, Pat has been incredibly instrumental. So I'm so grateful for him. And I have read all of his books. I've been on the podcast too, by the way. I've been on the Smart Passive Income podcast. However, the stuff that he shares, both in Will It Fly and Superfans, was really influential in me getting going with the business. And even now, when I teach to my clients about creating relationships, I also talk about making super fans of the people that are in your universe. And
as you should.
Now this book, Lean Learning, is really, I think he wrote it for me, honey. I think he did. Because I am the kind of person who, if left to her own devices, would spend her entire time learning. And really, sometimes we need to just implement, not learn so much. Although I love learning.
I love Pat Flynn's information. He does a good job. I learned a lot about the tech too from him in the beginning, which is kind of neat.
Absolutely. So. And I want to encourage you to go get the book and support our friend and my mentor, Pat Flynn. He doesn't know it. And I should tell him this because I'm in the community. I'm on the SBI community too. I should tell him he is on my board of directors. Did you know he's on our board of directors?
I did not.
Okay. So we have a board of directors for Go Confidently Services and Casa De Confidence Productions. And everybody should have a board of directors. So Pat Flynn is in there.
Very good.
You can choose one person, Dan. I'll let you choose a person in the board of directors.
One person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a couple other people who are in there, but, I'll let you choose.
Okay.
Someone who can be a mentor, who we look up to. We don't necessarily need to speak to them, but we need to kind of think of when we're at a crossroads, we can say, ooh, what would Pat Flynn do?
WWPFD?
Now you are really dating yourself. Hey, by the way, Pat Flynn, and for those of you who don't know, you should check him out. But he just he launched his third YouTube channel, and I believe that channel has now surpassed the other two channels, and it's mainly a shorts channel. Maybe you should have a shorts channel.
I was just thinking about it, actually. I just generated a short.
You did? For yourself?
I was on CapCut, and they have this short feature where you can do script to video. And I just tried it out just to check it out.
Were you doing it for yourself or for clients?
I was doing that one for me.
Oh, you should post stuff to your social media.
I was trying to do an Audacity tech tip. I didn't.
Audacity tech tip.
That's necessarily like it.
You have a lot going on because
it did a whole thing that with an AI voice and not my voice, and I don't want that.
No. I nix the AI voice. Yeah. You need to put your voice out there. Build your authority. You are the expert in your field, in what you do, in being the handsome hot husband for this company.
Oh, there you go again.
Listen.
Well,
look a little more peppy.
You know what?
You're on camera.
You know what?
What?
I'm going to segue to our episode now.
Okay, go ahead. Segue away. But, I was having fun talking to you.
Are you ready?
Sure. I could be ready.
You ready?
I could be ready.
So if you're ready to think differently about your business growth and hear from someone who's helped companies grow 300% in just 18 months, grab your notebook. Let's dive in with Liz Johnson of Mountain View Marketing and yours and my Julie DeLucca-Collins.
Hey, by the way, I want to say that if you're ready to launch your brand and you don't know how, don't start with what was that we were talking about? We're going to get the sticker off. Oh my God, this middle-aged brain is killing me.
It's called a logo.
Logo. Don't start with a logo. Go and talk to Liz. And
the logo comes after.
Yeah. That's
you've
the
started
cart, not the
hard work.
And that's a branding mistake. And we're going to talk about it with Liz. So let's jump into this conversation. Thank you, Daniel, for joining me online.
I sneezed.
And for helping me create some content. So if you are listening, go and check out the video also on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, go check out the podcast. And both of you, wherever you're listening and consuming, please share this episode and subscribe. That helps us bring incredible guests to you and help us to be able to support the individuals who are doing some amazing work in the world. So thank you, everybody. And let's tune in.
Julie, do you know who the most important part of this show is?
The listener. Viewer.
Yes, the viewer. I was going to say you, the viewer. But you stole my thunder.
Sorry. That's what
I guess I did ask the question.
You did ask the answer. And I am
just remember, if you're listening today, we thank you and we are eternally grateful for your listen, for your watch, and for, just enjoying the incredible guests that Julie has taken into our Casa De Confidence.
That's right. And help me hit 200 subscribers on YouTube.
All right. Let's dive in with Liz Johnson and Julie DeLucca-Collins.
Welcome back to Casa De Confidence, your place for all the information that will help you in your journey to being more confident in living the life of your dreams. And today, my friends, I have someone that is, those experts that we need to surround ourselves with, and someone that's been doing marketing for a very long time. She founded her company 21 years ago, but overall, her experience, and I don't want to say how many years, but it's a lot more than 21 years that she's been here. She's been in the space of marketing, advertising, public relations, and we need people like her and her company in our realm, because when you are building a brand, leveraging, engaging, it's part of the course of action. And someone that knows how to help you do that is definitely your ally and you want them in your corner. Today with me, I have Liz Johnson. And again, she's the president and principal consultant of Mountain View Marketing. So welcome to the show, Liz. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here, Julie. Thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Well, we connected through the wonderful artist, Dudley Cash, who I just love. And this is, again, an example of how amazing it is to surround yourself with these partners in the internet that come alongside of you and are just phenomenal. So tell me again, how did you meet Arliss?
We met through another colleague, a mutual
Mhm.
colleague of ours, and did a one-to-one. And then she said, there are some people I think you'd enjoy meeting. And
Yeah.
you were at the top of her list, and she was absolutely right. I've
Well,
definitely enjoyed our conversations.
we have a lot of fun with Arliss, connecting people together. It's sort of like this great big community that we're creating online. But I'm curious, if I had to do it all over again, and if I would have had a good guidance counselor in high school, I would have looked at really pursuing marketing as a career because I really do love it. But I think that obviously I'm not an expert like you, but is that what you wanted to do? Or did you just kind of go into that field? Because I know that a lot of people sometimes sort of go into a field and here they are, right? What was your journey in the marketing space?
Well, I came about marketing genetically. My dad was a marketing executive, and I was fascinated
Mm.
with all of his work from a very, very young age. Marketing always intrigued me. I
Mhm.
was one of those children who picked up a magazine and didn't read the magazine. I analyzed the
Mhm.
content. I
Love
looked at
that.
the ad composition.
Mm.
I looked at placement, design. It fascinated me from a very early age.
Love
And
that.
I absolutely love what I do. I have actually been doing marketing for 44 years.
I know I
So
didn't want to out you, but thank you for saying that. You've been
I'm
doing this for
very
a
honest
while.
about it. I'm very honest about it. I spent
Love it.
23 years in the corporate world doing national and
Mhm.
international marketing. And then I founded Mountain View Marketing 21 years
Mhm.
ago. We primarily serve small to medium-sized businesses with 200 employees or less. Many of our
Amazing.
clients are much smaller than that. And we're
Well,
vertically agnostic. We work
mhm.
nationwide for all different types of companies.
That's very cool. And I think that, your experience, you probably have seen not only a lot of different things kind of evolve, but I'm sure that you know what works for a lot of different industries and what doesn't. I'm also fascinated by marketing. I think, for me, I look at commercials sometimes and I think, oh my goodness, that's brilliant. And sometimes I think, oh gosh, these people need help.
They
And I
miss
would
the
bet
mark.
it's
Yes.
so much more so for you.
Yes, it's really a fascinating field,
Mhm.
and you can really, through branding and marketing, grow your business exponentially. It's a powerful tool. There is a lot of science to branding and marketing, a tremendous amount of
Yeah.
science behind it, and it's important to put that science to work for
Mhm.
your business
Yeah.
to increase your target market penetration and help your
Yeah.
business grow vibrantly and sustainably.
Absolutely. As a Tiny Habits coach and someone who's certified and has been exploring behavior design, and we've done this in the Tiny Habits Academy, in which we talk about what is the psychology behind certain things and how they prompt you to take the next step, right? And I would imagine that with a lot of marketing campaigns, there's got to be that level of understanding the psyche of your clients. And yet I don't think that a lot of people take that into account when they're marketing.
No, it's so important that you engage and
Mhm.
resonate with your ideal target markets as a business. I would encourage every business out there to have both a primary and a secondary target market. Many
Okay.
businesses only have a primary target market. It's good to
Mm.
have both because markets peak and ebb on
Mhm.
different cycles. So it's best if you have both a primary and a secondary target market. But the goal
Okay.
is to really resonate with your ideal target markets. You
All
do
right.
that through understanding their unique pain points and
Mhm,
challenges and their goals and objectives. And
mhm.
is what you're offering resonating with them to diffuse those pain points and challenges and help them reach their goals and objectives? You
Mhm.
want to speak their language, use the vocabulary that
Yeah.
will resonate and
Mhm.
engage them.
I am so glad that you're sharing that, because I think that, one of the things that definitely created the traction in my business when I launched is I will forever be grateful. I had a coach that I worked with, and he said, you need to talk to 100 people, and 100 people that you feel are your ideal clients. And because you're using words that may not be theirs, you may be assuming you know what they're struggling with. And that was definitely something that informed my business. It's still to this day. And I recorded a lot of those conversations, so I could go back and I can listen. And a lot of my content really does come from some of that. Now, certainly I am not perfect at it, but I am curious because you talked about the primary and secondary market. And for someone that is maybe just starting out, and we have some incredible entrepreneurs that are newbies in this game. Um, most people talk about that ideal client. Are you saying that we should have a first and a second ideal client, two different client
Yes.
avatars, or okay,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
I definitely think it's valuable for a
hmm
company to have a primary target market demographic
hmm
and a secondary target market demographic,
yeah,
because what you offer, what you bring to the marketplace may be most effective for your primary target markets, but it also may be effective for your secondary target markets. So
mm.
I
Well,
definitely encourage
yeah.
companies to do that.
You're
And
giving me something to think about, because I'm thinking I have a primary, and when I'm thinking of a secondary, I don't. And again, I think that I have different verticals in which I offer support, but I'm wondering if maybe I need to rethink what my secondary is. And is that a different offer for another market for that secondary? Are we offering something different?
sometimes
Yeah.
you are, sometimes you're customizing it. It's
hmm
always important that you customize your offering to your target market.
hmm
So again, it resonates with them. They engage with it. Um, what fuels business growth today is circular communication.
Mm,
And circular communication is critical. It
yeah.
fuels relationship-based business growth.
Yeah.
Circular communication is where you reach out, you invite your prospect to connect with you and engage. They reach back and you begin to build that trusted business
hmm
relationship.
Yeah. How do people that are new at outreach? And I think that there's a lot of individuals who I see that with some of my clients. They tend to be very intimidated in reaching out to a brand new person or that prospective client. And they feel, and I've heard this so many times, and I'm sure you hear it too, I don't want to be a pain. I don't want to be pushy. And, one of the things that I tell my clients is you're not going into the relationship as to, oh, let me go and talk to this person so I can sell them. But you're really talking to the person to create meaningful, deep relationships that can be beneficial for both of you.
Absolutely. That is very, very good advice, Julie.
Mhm.
You need to come from a place of providing value,
Mm,
not capturing a sale.
yeah,
If you
absolutely.
engage with a prospective client, you get to know them, you understand their pain points and challenges, their
Mhm.
goals and objectives. Perhaps you can offer them some advice that'll be
Mhm.
beneficial to them and build that trusted relationship. When you go in with a giver's mentality, it is far more effective to build that
Mhm.
relationship than going in with the sole goal of obtaining a sale, which is very
Mhm.
off putting to people.
Yeah.
People don't want to be sold to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I have walked away from places where I feel that that's the main purpose of the event or the person or the overall theme of the conversations. I definitely, I am always looking to bring people on board who I feel get me and who, again, have provided me value. And because I've learned to trust them based on the fact that they were value partners or value teachers, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so important to approach people that way. I would
Mhm,
encourage new businesses, first and foremost, to make sure that they are building a really successful brand. And a
mhm,
successful brand is three things: it's engaging,
mhm.
effective, and consistent.
Ooh,
When you consistently present your brand on all platforms, you can actually increase your revenue by up to 23%.
that's a big number.
It is. And businesses that brand consistently across all
Mhm,
platforms, both online and offline, they tend to get 3.5 times more brand visibility. So you
mm,
want to make sure that you are building an engaging, effective, successful brand.
right.
We do a lot of branding and rebranding for our clients, and it
Mhm,
makes a huge difference. It's also important to understand, statistically, it takes 7 to 12 interactions with a
that's right.
brand
Yep.
for someone to remember it.
Mhm,
So
yeah.
you want to make sure that that brand is successful. So as they interact with it, you
Mhm,
will be remembered, and it will be a tool for fueling that circular communication
yeah.
that is so critical in business today.
Absolutely. Now, you talked about that consistency throughout platforms and avenues of communicating with clients, but when I hear different places to show up, I immediately have that picture of social media just being it. But there's other places, right? I would say your written content or your written collateral, your
Yes,
website and
yes,
emails, and all these are the platforms that you're talking about as well, correct?
yes. Videos that you share, content that you
Mhm.
share, your website, your social media pages, your elevator pitches are also very important. Everyone
Mm.
should have a really strong, effective short elevator pitch and long elevator pitch.
Love it. I've done
We
that exercise and it's not easy for
No, it's
ourselves,
not.
but you have to refine it.
You do, you do. We've
Mhm.
helped
Yeah.
businesses grow by 30% through changing
Really?
their elevator pitches
Oh
alone.
my goodness.
Yes. It
So
makes them
give me an example of a very poor elevator pitch. I'm curious.
Well, a very poor elevator pitch is just narrative. Someone
Mm,
just describes what they do.
yeah. Yeah.
And people tune out quickly.
Oh,
But
100%. I do.
if you can share the value of what you do to your audience, it's very important. For example, if I were to do sort of a narrative
Mhm,
elevator pitch, I would say, I'm Liz Johnson. My company, Mountain View Marketing, provides branding and marketing services for your small to medium
mhm,
sized business. Ho hum.
mhm,
What if I said to you, I'm Liz Johnson, president and principal consultant with Mountain View Marketing. My team and I help our clients grow between 28% and 300% in 18 months through results driven branding, marketing, advertising, and outreach.
You had me at hello.
And I usually share that
Yeah.
98% of our business comes from referrals, and we're extremely proud of that. Very
That's
honored
huge.
and humbled
Yeah.
by that.
Yeah. So my elevator pitch, typically for my short elevator pitch, especially when I'm meeting someone for the first time, I will say, I help women entrepreneurs who don't know how to create consistent income and pay their bills monthly. I teach them how to be able to do that. And,
Perfect. There's the
I,
value. You're
yeah,
showcasing the
yeah.
value, not all the steps you take or
Oh, because I
how
could, right?
it's
I'm
right.
wordy, but I'm not going to do that.
It's excellent. It's excellent. that's what you want to do. You want to bring value. You want to showcase value, and you want to be genuinely interested in their pain points and challenges and goals and objectives. It makes a huge difference. As I said, there's a lot of science and there's a lot of strategy.
I love strategy. I
do
love
too.
strategy. You talked about, and offline, we were talking a little bit about, and again, one of my biggest pet peeves that I have when individuals start a business, and I have a lot of individuals, and if you're my client and you started this way, please know that I love you. But a lot of individuals come in and they say, I'm launching a business, and I want to raise my hand and say that I was this person too. I need a logo, and I'm going to be ready with a logo. And then you're so caught up in just having the logo that you don't really have an understanding of what your values are. You start maybe creating a logo because it looks pretty, not because of the psychology behind what you're putting forth. You talked about the subliminal messages in colors.
Yes.
Walk me through that.
Right. There are some really important components I would share, and then I'll jump into that. But the foundation of every successful brand and every successful business are your value propositions.
Yeah.
Those answer 4 questions. Why choose your company? What sets you apart from the competition? What unique assets do you provide to your clients? And how do you give back specifically to the local and regional community? We monitor the analytics of everything, and I do mean everything, to give our clients a competitive edge in the marketplace. 5 years ago, giving back to the local and regional community carried a decision-making weight of 30%.
Wow.
As of January 2024, it's 80%.
I am so glad that that's part of my realm and brand, honestly, because service to me is important, and I really reinvest into the programs and the things that I believe in my community. So I'm so happy that you're saying that 80%.
It's very important.
Great.
People want to work with companies and individuals that give back specifically to the local and regional community. Now, if you give back nationally, that's great, but it doesn't carry with it any brand traction.
Sorry, go ahead. Say that again, because I think that that's a point that's worth sharing.
Well, the giving back component.
Back component, because I think that a lot of people are so, I think that there's a lot of different ways. Do we give back to individuals or clients, or are we giving back to organizations? Because sometimes my support for organizations may not be what my clients love. I guess that's where I'm going with that.
Well, your giving back can take multiple forms. It could be monetary donation, volunteer hours, complimentary services, discounted services. And it's really something that you're passionate about. It should really today be part of the culture of your business to give back. For example, I started my career 44 years ago, and the glass ceiling for women in executive positions was thick and tough to penetrate. So I am passionate about empowering women in business through education and networking and so forth. And I'm also passionate about cat rescue. I have 3 rescue kitties of my own, and Mountain View Marketing has donated $90,000 of our services to a small, cage-free, no-kill cat shelter out here in Rappahannock County, Virginia, to make a difference for them. And so I think it's important to tap into what you're passionate about, and then make sure that you give back. And you don't want to beat your own drum with your branding about doing that, but you do want to mention and weave that into the fabric of your brand. It's part of your company culture.
One of the things that in my company that I worked for in New York, we often talked about, and it's interesting that you said that, we often talked about being part of the fabric of the people, of the organizations that we worked with, but we really prided ourselves in providing something that it was seamless service, a seamless program that
Yes,
made people feel comfortable. And I think that for many individuals, right, they see themselves as an ancillary to the business that they're working or the client, and they're not really thinking of being part of that um, close knit support system that people can't do without because you just become so ingrained in there.
absolutely. It's so important that you are part of that fabric. It really is. It really is critical. So that giving back component, that fourth value
Mm-hmm.
proposition question is critical. And before you ever move forward with developing a logo, you need to finalize those value propositions. Again, in outreach text, not narrative text, which is very
Nice.
different. And then as you raise the subliminal value of color in branding. Um, Color is a powerful tool in branding. It
Yeah.
can affect 80% of your brand recognition.
Wow.
And color drives 62% to 90% of a client's purchasing decision.
I don't think I knew these numbers.
It's
Interesting.
impressive. For example,
Mm-hmm.
and also I can tell you that 95% of the top 100 brands use only one or two branding colors because
Mm-hmm.
more than two tends to give your brand a carnival-like appearance.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
every successful brand, every
Mm-hmm.
successful business
Yeah.
does extensive research on the subliminal value of color and branding before they choose their colors. For example, red is an action color. It's a power color and an action color. It's statistically proven to drive people to make service or product purchases. Red
Ooh,
is.
I love
Yes.
that. And red,
Yes.
and by the way, I did not know that, but I picked red, and I'm embarrassed to say I picked it because it's my favorite color. But I really feel like it embodies me, what I stand for. Go confidently, right? And I think that red is the power color for me, and it always has
It
been. And I'm
absolutely is.
passionate about what I do, and I really feel like I want to communicate that to others.
Well, and subliminally, it drives people to make product or service purchases. For example, Coca-Cola's only branding color is red because it drives people to purchase Coke products. So there's a lot of science behind the subliminal color
Hmm.
branding, and it's important to choose. When we do subliminal color analysis for clients, we drill it all the way down to specific PMS colors.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe it. Now, for individuals that maybe are choosing a color like I did, that is a color that is their favorite color, but maybe not a great color. How do we figure out what's not a great color, even though it's our favorite color?
Well, it's important to work with someone who really is tapped into the science of the subliminal color of in branding because it is very powerful. And I have 1,800 pages of studies in my office on the subliminal
Liz, you
color
are the
in
expert
branding.
indeed. I love that because I know you've been doing this for a very long time,
Well,
but
it's
that's, yeah,
fascinating to me
yeah.
because it makes a huge difference. Just
Hmm.
like when you create a tagline.
Yeah.
An ideal tagline is always 5 words or less.
Oh, okay. This is giving me a lot to think about. I know that our listeners are probably kind of thinking like, ooh, okay, this is a lot to unpack. This is the episode, my friends, that you're going to save, you're going to send to your friends, and you're also going to come back and listen to multiple times because you're always going to hear something different. Like I know I will when I come back. Liz, wow, that's crazy. Now, I think I mentioned to you when I went because I went through a rebrand at this time last year. And it was the first time, it was kind of like we did it together with my husband launching the business. We didn't, we took what we both knew. He worked in retail, I did too. And of course, through my corporate experience. And I thought, I know I need to have a professional now. And when I went through it, one of the things that they added is a third color to my palette, which I didn't have. And I I very often don't use that color. I still stick to the red and the pink. I don't know. It's, I guess, me, but the other color also is in there. If people, like you said, have multiple colors, you don't want to look like a carnival, but is there a middle ground where it's a little, can be more than two? And
I don't recommend more than
okay.
two.
Okay.
As I said,
I love that.
95% of the top 100 performing brands use
Wow.
one or two branding colors only. And there's a
Yeah,
reason for that. It's
absolutely.
really much more effective. And it has nothing to do with the colors that you like. It has to
Mhm.
do with the colors that will engage and resonate with your
Yeah.
ideal target market. So
Yeah.
it's important to look at that. And as far as a logo, it needs to be clean,
Mhm.
streamlined, and uncomplicated. You see some of these
Yeah.
logos that are very intricate. That's not a good
Scripty.
idea. You want
Mm.
people to be able to glance and
Yeah.
recognize. Keep in mind that statistically, you have 3 seconds, 3 seconds
That's
to
nothing.
engage someone
That's
with your
nothing. Yeah.
brand or your business. That's it.
That's wow. I have a lot of clients, they come to us for podcast services. We do podcast production. And one of the things that we really walk people through, and this is a little bit of what we are looking in the new year to really being part of the service, right? Of connecting them with maybe a Liz Johnson that will say, Liz, give them some feedback on that podcast art. Um, and one of the things that people will come to us already with podcast art. And, so for instance, I have a client that's going through that right now. She's had someone created podcast art for them. And I had to say, I cannot in good conscience let you use this because it's really cluttered. Um, you can't even read their name or the podcast name, and the colors are not our brand. I just, is it okay to give this type of feedback to individuals that maybe are coming to work with us as business coaches, for
Absolutely.
instance? Yeah.
You're doing them a service, Julie, not a disservice, because
Mhm.
when you use the wrong art, the wrong
Mm,
logo, the wrong branding colors, there are significant lost opportunity costs
mm,
with doing that. So you're preventing this client
yeah.
from moving forward with something that will not serve her well, that will
Yeah.
not be a business growth tool. So
Mhm. Yeah.
kudos to you for sharing that with her.
I am always, I am what you see is what you get, and you're going to get my little opinion whether you want it or not. But I always feel like, ooh, was I too tough? But again, like I'm
So
thinking, I can't even read your name. And when you're looking at podcast, right? I mean, this may look great on a computer when someone is sending you this logo because she has someone that created it. Well, she hired someone on Fiverr to create it. But I think you're going to have that on a small screen. Most people are listening on a phone. So
right.
it's going to be so tiny. I need glasses all the time now. I can't even read it with my glasses, much less someone that is going to, how will you attract? And like you said, you have those 3 seconds to engage someone.
And that's it. It's very precious. They either decide to engage with you or they move on. So you need to use that time
Mhm.
strategically, use that time wisely.
Yeah, amazing. Liz, you talked about being strategic, and I know that part of what Mountain View Marketing does is strategic outreach and planning. Tell me a little bit about that is, because very few, and if not many marketing agencies that I've come across do some of that, and this is something that sets you apart.
Well, first of all, we often do what we call a brand checkup for our
Mhm,
clients. We take a close, hard look at their brand and make sure that it is engaging, effective, and
mhm,
consistent, that they do have a successful brand. And for companies that started many years ago, their brand may have been really on point then, but perhaps is not so much on target today. So we look at all of that. We analyze their target markets, what will resonate with them, and do a brand checkup first.
mhm.
And then
Yeah.
we identify with them their ideal primary and secondary target markets We
Mhm.
look at the pain points and challenges and goals and objectives of those target
Mhm.
markets. Then we look at the offerings of the client and are they in sync with those pain points and challenges and goals and objectives?
Mhm.
Do the services they're
Yeah.
providing really address those pain points and challenges and help fuel that growth
Mhm.
that the client is looking for?
Yeah.
And then we make necessary adjustments. And then we look at where are they going to connect with their ideal
Mhm.
target markets?
Yeah.
Are they going to do that through social media? Are they going to do that through content marketing? Are they going to
Mhm.
do that through digital advertising?
Yeah.
Really, where are they going to make those connections? And that's where they need to be.
Yeah. I agree with you. And that's one of the things that I typically will say to clients is where are your ideal client hanging out? Because
Yes,
you cannot look and say, oh, everybody is on TikTok or my clients are on LinkedIn. Where are they? Because we spend so much time in effort in things that are not giving us the return and we don't evaluate that. So it's really key to be intentional. Now you talked about marketing and I want to excuse me, I want to maybe share with the listeners because I understand that there's a lot of differences, but when someone is just starting out or maybe has been around and has a business for a while, but they kind of interchangeably put all these terms marketing, there's advertising, there is public relations, and of course, the social media, digital marketing. What are the differences? Can you unpack that for us?
well, the tools that you create to fuel success in those different channels
Hmm.
need to be fine tuned to work within the channels. For
Hmm.
example, video is extremely powerful on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Most of our clients are on LinkedIn. So that's a great platform for us to engage with clients. And I do a lot of speaking engagements, and we engage with a number of our clients there. But video is a powerful tool. So to just post text on LinkedIn is not going to give you the target market penetration that posting video will. Now, it's important to remind people that your video needs to be 2 minutes or less, ideally a minute to a minute and a half, because people's attention spans are extremely brief today. So you need to pack
Yes.
that value into a
Yeah.
minute or a minute and a half and make sure that you have a call to action. That's
Yeah.
true also with digital advertising. We do digital advertising on online news channels, not just on social media, but in a number
Mhm.
of different places. So it's important that you have a call to action so that you're fueling that
Mm.
circular communication. You don't just want to deliver your message and leave it flat.
Mhm.
You want to
Yeah.
invite them to connect with you for more information or sign up for your newsletter or whatever your next step should
Mhm.
be. It's
Yeah.
really important that in all of your outreach you're fueling that circular communication.
Yeah. I look at my advertising or my marketing as a whole, and yet I think that what I have found is that when I do a very generic marketing effort, okay, I'm just gonna, this is my strategy, and yet I'm not personalizing to the different avenues, right? Whether it be and I think there's got to be consistency, but also you have to know the different nuances and different places that you're advertising.
Absolutely. Personalization is key. What
Mhm.
resonates with one vertical in a market segment will not resonate with another. So you're very wise, Julie, to do that. You want to make sure you're speaking to the specific target market's needs, goals, and objectives. So
Mhm. Yeah.
personalization is critical. What appeals to one type of business is not going to appeal to another.
Yeah. I had I have a podcast. Of course, we're recording for the podcast. So now I initially began having two what I felt were two different brands, the podcast and Go Confidently services. And now I've made the choice and I've made the move in the last, I would say, 2.5 years. I am the brand. It is not Go Confidently Services and it's not the podcast. I am the brand. And these things are some of the things that I do. Is that wrong?
No, you have built what we call an umbrella brand.
Mhm.
And you are your umbrella brand. And underneath you are the spokes of the umbrella or the verticals that support that.
Mhm.
So your podcast, your consulting services, your coaching services,
Mhm.
all of those are verticals or spokes under your umbrella brand. It's very wise to do that for
Oh,
several reasons.
phew.
Yes, that was
Right.
very wise and forward thinking of you, Julie, because when you build an umbrella brand like that, you can add verticals underneath it without rebranding.
Yeah.
When you build what we call a silo brand, which just has one service component, one
Mhm.
vertical, and you decide you want to change the company a little bit, you want to make a shift,
Yeah.
you want to add services, you need to rebrand. Whereas if you build that umbrella brand right out of the gate,
Yeah.
you're much more nimble in the marketplace. So
Well, that's what I'm looking
absolutely.
to do, right? And this helps my ADHD mind, right? Because if someone said to me, pick one, I would have a hard time. I really love sharing these type of conversations on the podcast. I think that for me, I am a podcast listener and I know that some of the best things that I've learned come from the wisdom and knowledge and things that I learned through these conversations and other people's podcasts. But at the same time, I am so passionate about that entrepreneur, that woman that maybe is in midlife and thinks, am I done? Is this all there is? And they have the potential and the gifts to be able to impact and yet create a living that can let them, have the freedom and flexibility that they desire. And of course, I love to speak in front of people and you name it, right? Even the consulting that I do for individuals and nonprofits, I love that. But I really thought I cannot pick one, and I don't want to have to,
And
because I
you're
think that,
wise not
again,
to.
this is me. This is who you get. You get someone that, if you want me to train your people, I can do that. If you get someone that maybe it's going to call it like it is and hold you accountable, I can do that. So yeah. Well, so thank you for reiterating that I'm in the
No,
right
the
track.
umbrella brand is the framework, the branding framework for success, and it also keeps you nimble to grow and add verticals under that. So that's
Yeah.
definitely the way to go. And for businesses starting out, it's important to mention you don't have to do everything all at once.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Yeah.
important is that you do it strategically in phases so that you're building and leveraging on your tools and your
Yeah.
components. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. We work with a lot of startups and small businesses. We identify what's really critical right out of the gate, and then
Mm-hmm.
we work from there.
Yeah. I'm enjoying this, and it's giving me lots of, my mind is already going. I definitely, you're going to have to be one of these guests again that comes back again and again, Liz, because I love your knowledge and
Oh,
you've been so kind to share so much. I do want to ask one last question, because I think that, again, we've talked a lot about about branding. We've talked about different ways of where you put yourself out there, having a clear message and capturing people right away. Is there a marketing practice that is maybe going away that people should kind of say, you know what, I'm not going to put my money on that? Or, like, I think, should we still be buying pencils that are branded to our business? It's funny because the pencil that I'm actually using, a pen that I'm using, it's from the company that I used to work for. And here it is, right? Um, but yeah, is there something? Do we still direct mail? Is that still a thing? Or tell me more, because you know the different places where
well,
people are showing up.
there's direct mail is something that I think is going by the wayside. An
Mm,
ideal direct mail campaign yields a return of 3%.
that's
An
not good
ideal
at all.
campaign. An average direct mail campaign yields a return of 1.5%.
Oy, okay.
So that's a very small ROI for the investment. Many people today don't look through their direct mail. So
Nope.
it's important that you engage with your prospects, not only prospective clients, but prospective centers of influence and potential referral partners in ways that resonate with them. So quick bits of value-driven information on video, that's really important. Podcasts are very, very important today, very well received. You want to make sure you're engaging in ways where people will digest that information. Print ads are not quite as prevalent as they used to be, but there is still a role for print. Collateral, what we do for clients, we do a lot of ebooks. And
Love
those
that.
electronic corporate brochures that can be used for a multitude of different purposes. Our clients have had incredible success with those. Ebooks are a power tool because you can use them with prospective clients. You can send them to potential referral partners. You can use them to qualify for business loans, for speaking engagements. And
Wow.
that's one tool that you can send everywhere. So
Amazing.
multi-purpose outreach tools are really important.
I'm so grateful that you're sharing this. And again, I think that individuals that are hearing you and connecting with you are going to have aha moments as they listen. So I I want to encourage you, my friend, if you're listening to this, there's again takeaways. You need to come back to this. You need to share it, save it. But really, I'm going to have all of Liz's information. She's got some wonderful, wonderful things that, and just acknowledge. And she has a great newsletter also on LinkedIn. You got to go check out her stuff on LinkedIn. Liz, if there's one thing that person listening, and we talked about a lot of different things, but if there was one implementable, doable, key thing that they should do and implement right away that could be a game changer for them in this conversation, what would you recommend it is? What would be the thing?
Make sure that what they're putting out into the marketplace is value driven.
Yeah.
That's really critical.
Yeah.
And very, very important today. And anyone who's listening who has marketing questions, I'm happy to do a brief marketing consultation
Oh,
with
I
them.
love it.
So
So kind and generous of you because
it's my pleasure.
amazing. Well, everybody, this has been just phenomenal. I loved learning about circular communication. And again, some of the best things that we need to pay attention to as we go in this journey. We need helpers to come alongside of us. And Liz is definitely that helper, my friends. Go and connect with her on LinkedIn. That's where she's hanging out, but she's also has a wonderful website. I want you to go to Mountain View marketingllc.com, and I'm going to have all of that in the show notes so that you can connect with Liz. And I would encourage you to let her know that you found her through Casa de Confidence. And thank you, Liz, for your time.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you so much, Julie, for having me. I enjoyed our conversation immensely.
Me too. Me too. Amazing. Well, thank you again, my friend, the listener. You need to make sure connect with Liz. And if you enjoy the podcast, I would love it if you shared it, but also leave us a review. This is how it allows us to bring you these incredible, incredible guests, and subscribe because you don't want to miss another great event like having a Liz Johnson come and visit us at the podcast. Until next time, my friends, don't forget, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Thanks again, Liz.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Casa de Confidence. We thank you for listening, and if you want more, go to casadeconfidencepod.com. Check Julie out on her socials as Julie DeLucca-Collins. And you can also check out her website at goconfidentlycoaching.com. Have a great week, and don't forget, go confidently in the direction of your dreams.
Hi, everybody. I know that sometimes we get very lonely in this entrepreneur journey, and I want to invite you to join us into our limited time only, Purposeful You Mastermind. For many of us entrepreneurs, we believe that we can do it all. But the reality is that doing it alone only creates a lot of overwhelm. So join us at the Purposeful You Mastermind. You can find out more information by going to bit.ly/Julie's Mastermind. This is going to be the place where you are able to then unlock your full potential and achieve long-term success for your business. Push you behind your current limits, expand your connections, discover new ideas, and implement them with confidence. You're going to get the support in all aspects and transforming you to the six-figure business you've been looking for. Pause and get off the hamster wheel if you've been spinning around. This is a time where you can get that support from like-minded entrepreneurs that are here to join you in your journey. Together, we can challenge the assumptions and land the speaking engagements and opportunities we want to grow our business and make an impact in the lives of people. See you then. Remember, you can find the mastermind at bit.ly, Julie's Mastermind.